everyone! This is Corin Landwalker, and this afternoon we're going to do a little bit of flying in Star Citizen. Let's see if I can get past the black screen of death here. Yes, excellent. You may have noticed that my surroundings are not the usual surroundings that I've been in over the last few weeks, where I spawned in at the landing area of Lorville on the world Kirsten. Over the last couple of months, I've been engaged in what I've been calling the Aurora MR Challenge. And last week, I hit the end point of the challenge, where I was successfully able to gain enough profit to purchase, in-game, a Cutlass Black. So, it occurred to me that perhaps it may not be a bad idea to show off the Cutlass just a little bit today. But, if you're going to show off the Cutlass, you need to do it in the right environment, doing the right kind of stuff. Which is to say, in the wrong kind of environment, doing the wrong kind of stuff. Thus, I'm here in the space station of Grim Hex. Now, originally it was referred to as the Green Imperial Housing Exchange, if I remember correctly, but it fell on hard times, which is to say, mostly abandoned. And when you abandon a place like this, somebody moves in. Thus, Grim Hex, as it is now called, is the... how can I best put it? To paraphrase, it is the most wretched hive of scum and villainy in the Stanton star system. Yeah, I couldn't help that. That said, there are amenities to be had, like, the occasional hot dog. Hot dogs. Nom 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 nom. And beer. Not like the fancy shot glasses that you get in the bars in the various locations. No, this is your standard bottle of beer. Pop the top, chug it down. I'm pretty sure that my hydration and nutrition levels are okay, but And we will just chuck the thing over there because this is Grim Hex and nobody cares about little things like litter. So, I'm in kind of what would be the racing area of Grim Hex. Somewhere along the line, what they're going to be doing is they're going to have a race course of some kind put around Grim Hex where you'll be flying racing starships like the Origin M50 or the Misk Razor or a couple of the other racing style ships. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know how they're going to make it work around Grim Hex, except it's liable to be highly dangerous. Because, well, this is Grim Hex, Wretched Hive, Scum Villainy, all that stuff. See, they don't even have racing stuff here yet. I wonder if that'll work when it happens. Not gonna worry about it for now. So, we're going to exit the racing section of Hex and move into the main area. Close the door on me, why don't you? Upper level is primarily habitation units. Yes, people do spawn in here, and as you can see, the place is so well upkept. I mean, doesn't this place just look like the kind of area you want to live in? If you said yes to that, seek help. This is probably one of the last places I'd want to live. And this is actually one of the nicer corridors, honestly, because some of the other HAB units, they don't look so good. Crazily enough, you can pay off fines here, too. That's probably a relic from when it was still Green Imperial. A couple other places of interest here before we start kicking things off. We have a... I hesitate to call it a Kasaba outlet because it's really not. But it sure has the color scheme for Kasaba, doesn't it? This is the only place in Stanton where you can pick up long coats. There used to be another place, but the planetoid of Delamar and the landing station of Levski have gone bye-bye. So as far as I'm aware, Grimhex is the only place you can get the long coats. Just an FYI. Over to the left, right here is, well, if you go down far enough, you'll find some interesting people who possibly give you a mission to run if your reputation is ugly enough. Mine isn't at the moment because I've been doing good guy stuff for the last couple of months. All those bounty hunts. My reputation is squeaky clean. More or less. Over here is the admin area. We'll probably look at that a little bit momentarily more. And over here, which is a fairly important area, notice the arrow. Go over to this side room here, and you'll find one of the few places where you can buy crypto keys. These are the kind of things you would use to hack a computer to do all sorts of, shall we say, less savory activities. I may demonstrate this later on in the stream. Now, speaking of the admin area consists of a couple important spots. One, you have this Kovalex shipping box, so it is possible for you to do box deliveries here. You have trade terminals. Now, the interesting thing about these trade terminals, aside from the fact that their interface is very different than the ones you'll find in better stations, is the fact that they don't ask questions. They don't care where your cargo came from. So if you have a bunch of boxes that you picked up from, say, a wrecked Caterpillar site, you can stuff them on your ship, you can sell them here. You can also purchase stuff here too. Mostly scrap and waste. Now, you may have noticed on the left-hand side that I've already started a little bit early as far as the somewhat less legal activities. My Cutlass Black there has some drugs. Unfortunately, the folks here will buy very little in the way of units at any given time. Possibly because this is one of the few places where you can sell drugs. There used to be a few more, but willingly or unwillingly, they're not. Not now, at any rate. Okay, I think that already... sometimes the thing backs you out and you're never sure if you sell it or not. But to be fair, I'm selling so little of it at a time, who cares? I mean, I'm selling double-digit units here, and let's see, I've got 4-digit units from ETAM and Altrusotoxin, 3 digits for Neon and Widow. And I'm selling tiny, tiny bits at a time. There used to be a couple no question asked terminals over on some of the space stations, like Crew L1, but they went away. Yay? So, such is life. There used to be a place to turn in mined goods here as well, but with the revamp of the refining decks and all that, it's not here anymore. Life's tough. Life is tough when you're Grimheads. They don't care about unrefined ores anyway. They want the finished goods. Oh, over here, there's a bar. You can hope that the bartender notices you. Oh, yeah. Plus, there's a bug here at Grimhex, where that red bar there doesn't open up properly. Luckily, we would have to have a really bad day for it to be affecting both elevators. Yes, I just took Fate and slapped it across the face a few times. Let's see if it responds. Nope, this is the way it's supposed to look. So we are going to go to the lobby. And at the lobby, we are going to head to the Starship terminals. And to nobody's great surprise, we will be bringing out the Drake Cutlass Black, my recent acquisition thanks to the Aurora challenge. Waiting for them to give me a hangar. Hangar 2. And once we get into the hangar, I will need to take care of something else that is extremely important because horrible, horrible things could happen. Namely, I could be going out there without wearing a spacesuit. I think that everyone will agree that trying to breathe in space without an oxygen supply would be a very poor idea. As in, oh god, what have I done? So we are going to equip my usual undersuit, which will automatically equip the armor I last had attached to it, and all the weaponry and toys that I've had attached to it. And it will allow me to see my vital stats again. Full up on hydration and in nutrition, that's good. Full health, full oxygen, all is well. And I have access to the communications network again, which will undoubtedly show me all the joyful things that'll show up in chat. Alright, let's take a look at the Cutlass Black now. The Cutlass, well, it looks like a pirate ship, doesn't it? I mean, if you look at it, the first thing you think of is, it looks like a predator. That's because it is. We're going to hop into the back where the cargo and the main door is. I see that we have the bug where I don't see my cargo again. It's invisible. But there should be a bunch of cargo boxes here because I was unable to sell everything I have. Now, what we have back here, we have a number of foldable seats, so you can carry on some passengers, 6 passengers. I didn't say they were incredibly comfy seats, but they theoretically work. Whether or not you can get out of the seats again is something that I'm not going to spend too much time trying to figure out. Over to the side here, we have cargo doors. Not much good in a gravity environment, but in 0G, that's a handy way to get in and out. And if you want to get crazy, if you have passengers who are well armed with railguns or missile launchers, you could consider them supplemental spaceship weapons. Hey, I like the idea. There's one on the opposite side too. Now, in another ship, like say the Cutlass Blue or Red, these are basically replaced mostly by smaller docking collars. No biggie. Over to the next room. This is what we will laughingly refer to as our living area. We have a couple of storage closets, which may or may not cooperate. There we go. Again, the storage closets are mostly fluff right now. Let's turn on my lamp again. Here we have some weapon racks, good for 4 weapons. And a pair of bunks. Over here, you have turret access. There is a turret for the Cutlass Black, which means somebody can go and kill people with it. And that's the living area. Now, you may notice that there is a very important detail that I have not mentioned about this living area. Wait for it. It may come to you. There's no bathroom. There's no toilet. There's no shower. Hygiene apparently is not high on the list of Drake vessels, or at least on the Cutlass series. I believe the Cutlass Red may have one, but I don't think the Cutlass Blue does. Finally, we have the flight deck. Co-pilot seat in the back, pilot seat in the front. And that is where we will begin our journey. Now, I have done some upgrades on here. Well, not much of an upgrade. You'll see that I've got a quartet of Scorpion Gatling guns on here. Now, the original specs have, well, they've got a different set of, they have a pair of different guns, but I wanted them all to be the same, and I went with the Gatlings. That's all, nothing fancy. We also have 16 missiles on here of, well, let's take a quick peek, shall we? 8 of size 2, 8 of size 3, all of which are cross-sectional, which means they don't care at all if your heat or electromagnetic signature undergoes mutation. It's just gonna be there and do damage. The Type 2s and the size 2s, incidentally, are proximity, which means they don't have to actually hit you, they just have to get close. The size 3s, on the other hand, are strike packages. So you could consider, I think, the first one to be good to try to wipe out shields, and the second one to wipe out things a little more precious than shields. Alright. Enough of the grandstand. Let's bring out the ship.
You are clear to launch.
Let's make sure that I'm cursor neutral here. Now those big engines in the back, those are VTOL engines. We'll bring up our landing gear. And we will head out. So, now that I have this ship, what can we do with it? Well, as you may have guessed from that cargo terminal in Grim Hex, one of the things I can do is deliver some cargo. But as I said, drugs, they're a little bit difficult to offload. But difficult is not the same as impossible. So first I'm going to get out of the immediate vicinity of Hex so that nobody can start shooting at me at random and get away with it. And we'll bring up our map. You see, for the illegal substance trade, there have been a couple major changes over the last couple of quarterly patches. Firstly, as I previously mentioned, a number of the terminals that would buy these things no longer exist. Secondly, and this is a big one, a lot of illegal locations that didn't used to have a quantum beacon that you could jump to now do. For example, Jumptown. What is Jumptown? Well, it is a place that has a great deal of fame, Star Citizen. Mostly out-of-game fame. It was a drug manufacturing facility known for producing a drug called Widow, and possibly some others. Now, the thing about that is, well, you'll notice, well, we have a ComSat up, but it can be taken down. And apparently it was taken down repeatedly.
Drive is now off.
Jumptown is not an armistice zone. So people would actually have firefights there to take control of this drug manufacturer. Now, since drugs are so hard to offload these days, Jumptown became a less frequent destination. Or at least it was until recently, because with the last quarterly patch, quantum beacons were made active to these locations, which strikes me as, how can I put it, incredibly stupid. Come on now. If you're hosting an illegal facility, why in God's name would you advertise to the governments of the area that, hey, I'm here, come blockade me, or use me as target practice, or what have you? Why do you let me still exist? It's insane. Before, you would have to wait for a mission that would take you there, or basically eyeball your way to the destination. And even if you had a mission that took you there, you didn't have a quantum beacon, you would still have to do it the hard way of traveling there from a close by beacon and then chug-a-lug-lug until you got there. But that is not the case anymore. So I don't really agree with it, even though it does come in handy right now, because that allows me to show you the famous location of Jumptown.
Landing complete. Engines offline.
I don't know if I'm particularly happy about the way this thing's landed, but there's nothing to it, I guess. Yes, it is snowing. Now, there are, I guess, some obvious jokes to make about snow and illegal substances, but I will refrain. The good news is that here on the moon of Yellow, the gravity is not exactly horrible. Unfortunately, the ramp seems to be busted. I was hoping that got fixed the last time I did a repair, but apparently it didn't get fixed enough. Well, that could be a problem coming down the line. So, what is it like here in Jumptown? Well, it's probably not as impressive as it sounds. First, we want to take a quick peek at the trade terminal. I think I might be able to offload some of my substances here. I'm hoping that will be the case at any rate. There we are. Yes, I can offload the neon, and I can offload a whopping 3 units! Wow! See, I probably wouldn't have this problem if they didn't have quantum beacons. So, yay me. Now, what they have available to sell are Widow and Altrusha toxin, as I indicated are already on my ship, and a drug called Slam, which I'm pretty sure nobody buys right now except maybe my next destination. Tell you what I'll do, just for the laughs, I will buy 5. No, I don't want to buy 5 cargo units. I'll buy 2 cargo units. It's not much. I'm going to get piddling for it. On the other hand, I can apparently fill more. I mean, it's 145 per. No. Since I don't know that I can sell it anywhere, I'm not going to sink even more of my finances to deal with this. I just want to have it as an example. So 5 units to slam. Any event, if you're doing certain missions, like box deliveries, you might come in here and there'll be boxes to pick up. But more interestingly, however, is what you might find over here. Because this is where you would go to do certain drug missions. In fact, just for giggles, I don't really think I do, but let's see if I have any, no illegal missions here. And just for kicks, no, I don't have any of those either. I see a security outpost, Karia, has been infiltrated again, but I'm leaving that alone. Because I'm not being a good guy today. And I will prove that conclusively later. But if you're doing drug missions, you might get asked to take the raw materials to a place like this in Jumptown, drop off something, they'll produce a packet of the refined materials, and then you would take them back out to your ship and move on to your next destination. Oh, and I suppose there's also here, but this is basically, you know, bunks. So that's Jumptown. It's not exactly what you'd call really impressive. But if you're a facility that's trying to stay off the radar, you're not inclined to be making what you would call a large facility. You want it to be small enough to do the job and large enough to produce enough that people will go and buy your wares and sell it off and all that other good stuff. So now I'm flying around here. Oh, and there's all my drugs back. Looks like buying the slam put my cargo back where it belonged. Unfortunately, my cargo bay is now permanently stuck open until I can do some repairs. And that's not going to happen here. Now I'd kind of like to get the ramp working properly. So I'm going to take a side trip over to our core mining area. My best guess is that our core mining area will have a landing pad that will allow me to do some repair work.
Launch complete.
If I'm wrong, well, I'll try somewhere else. The back ramp, incidentally, is one of the constant problems for the Cutlass series. Apparently, it doesn't take much to break it, so it's stuck open. And when you consider that's the primary way in and out of your ship, you may not want it to be wide open for basically anybody to go into. So it does behoove us to see if we can get about fixing this problem before it becomes a serious problem. Now, incidentally, the full market value of the drugs I have on the ship right now is north of 200,000 credits.
Quantum drive is now off.
That sounds like a lot of money until you realize that, selling it all is a problem regularly. And you could probably make that kind of money in maybe a quarter of the time doing those bounty hunts. Yeah, I think we're done reading chat right now. I'm occasionally hitting my quantum drive just to give me an indicator of how far away it is. Ordinarily, I would go back to map and reset the destination, but I don't feel like doing that right now. But we can't be too much further because we are moving in the general direction and our altitude is almost 1 kilometer up, which means there we are in sight. Let's bring the speed down a bit before I take off the cruise control. Good news is there is a landing pad. And while it seems there's only one landing pad, it should be of sufficient size for the Cutlass. May all my guesses be right.
Landing gear down.
Now, if I can get this to do the repair work, and if they'll fix the ramp, then we'll be in good shape for the next plan.
Automated landing. Landing complete.
Okay, here's the hoping. I don't know if we landed right where I wanted to land, but we landed well enough. Let's restock the fuel too while we're at it. And while we're doing all that, let's increase the number of flares. I may or may not need to use countermeasures at some point. Fuel is done. Repairs may or may not be done. Let's find out. Somewhere around here I should have a command to close my exterior. Here we are. Well, unfortunately I only have open exterior. Close exterior. And the ramp closes. I am feeling a little more secure now.
Launch complete.
So the next step on our journey is going to take us back to the Hurston system. Unfortunately, I did make a little bit of a boo-boo here. My plan had been to yank out one of my good quantum drives to stick in here for the purposes of the stream. But I got sidetracked and life happens, and well, so much for that. It was a good idea while it lasted. Now, I don't believe Hurston is where I want to go precisely. I believe it is one of the moons I want to go to. I'm just doing a quick double check to see if I can... Well, maybe it is Hurston. Maybe it is Hurston. Let's go back here and zoom in on the... Yes, it is. Reclamation and disposal. Another one of those places that are more or less off the grid. And, well, they used to be off the grid. Now they're obviously on the grid because they stuck a freaking beacon there.
Drive is now on.
I really hope they get rid of that. I mean, yeah, it makes life a little harder, but logically speaking, if you're doing illegal stuff, you want to make it harder. If anybody could drop in, then somebody's going to drop in with a bunch of missiles and really wreck the place. I mean, honestly, if structures were destructible, these places would be smoldering craters. What can you do? Now, the nice thing you'll notice about the illegal substances is they're packaged very differently than what you would see if you were doing standard cargo running. You have these nice metal boxes for minerals or agricultural supplies, medical supplies, you name it. But for drugs, you've got these packages that are wrapped up tight, and you can see on the underside nice baggies. Or you've got these, let's just say, charmingly marked cheapo crates. They just look like they don't belong. They look like the kind of things you would expect, well, if you're running drugs. Which we kind of are. Enterprising folks may refer to these as recreational materials. Never mind the fact that they will probably melt people's brains or do all sorts of things to their hand-eye coordination or any number of side effects, shall we say. Hey, these things happen. If you're not cautious with the use of these things, you have to expect bad things to happen. Don't overdose on them. That said, you'll notice that none of the crates had an envelope that had recommended usage, recommended doses. No! That ain't the way the game is played. I still can't get over the fact that the Cutlass has no bathroom. It kind of tells you something about the philosophy of the folks at Drake Interplanetary. They build everything that they think you need, but they forget one of the most important needs in here. It's almost as if they considered this ship to be designed for short-term use. Never mind the fact that we've got beds. Now, the folks at Drake Interplanetary have been often accused of catering to pirates, or the kind of folks who do the illegal things that we're doing right now. And, well, you gotta admit, there's probably something to that. I mean, let's face it. Their primary ship line is called Cutlass, a weapon that is traditionally associated with pirates. This is probably not a coincidence. Drake may make a good show out of popping out its Cutlass Red and Cutlass Blue to kind of say, hey, look, we have a bounty hunting ship, so, go after pirates, or we have this ambulance, save people, bring in lives, allow them to respawn. But the Cutlass Black is still here, and it is still, theoretically, a favorite of pirates everywhere. That sound means we are decelerating, which means the world of Hurston will be in our crosshairs momentarily.
Quantum drive is now off.
Alright, we'll let the quantum cooldown start. Meanwhile, I will start getting myself aligned to reclamation and disposal orange. You probably guessed exactly what this place is just by the name.
Quantum drive is
Especially the part that says disposal. It's basically a junkyard. And hopefully, if we're on the sunny side of the planet, it'll be easier to illustrate. However, judging from the angle of approach, yeah. Unfortunately, it's nighttime. Well, it's never simple, is it? That said, it's a lot easier than it used to be because they put in a quantum beacon.
Quantum drive is now off.
Which, as I have already said, feels like one of the dumber things they could have done. But who am I to judge? About 19 kilometers out. I should probably turn on the spotlights, which aren't going to have an effect this high up yet. But I'd like to get at least a little bit of warning before I splatter across the ground. That's the kind of thing that would really ruin the day. Nine kilometers out, 4 kilometers up. So far, everything is proceeding exactly as it should. 4.5 kilometers. I better adjust my approach here. Okay, time to level out a bit and kill the cruise control. Ah, here we go. I can see it now. Let's drop a little bit and get a little closer so you can get a good view of the junk heap. Garbage, garbage, garbage. Everywhere you look. Let's get the VTOLs on. I need to make sure that I don't land the hard way. Now I'm going to try to see if I can find a place out here that's relatively clear. That won't be too far away, but won't land me in the middle of one of those garbage heaps. A little too close. Let's move up a little. Here we go.
Landing complete. Engines offline.
Okay, let's see if I can manage to avoid breaking the ramp again. I mean, I swear, the ramp is like tissue paper. It works. I mean, other ships with ramps don't break this easily. Freelancer doesn't break that easily. Mercury doesn't break this easily. But everything else does. Now, thanks to enough journeys here, I know approximately where the terminal here is. Let's see if they're buying anything in any quantity. Again, that friendly, no questions asked. They will buy ETAM. What luck! I can sell 55 units of it. Yay. I can sell my neon. I can sell 329 units. I can clear out my neon. Now that is good news. That's at least one thing I'm going to back away and go back in because this thing has a habit of logging me out before I'm done. It's annoying, but what can you do? And finally, I'm going to sell off the slam that I bought as an example. You'll notice that they don't make an offer for my Altrucha toxin or my widow. Honestly, I wish they would take more of the ETAM. Oh, maybe they will. Another 93 units. Maybe there's a faster server tick on this terminal. It'd be nice. 1,000 units. Why don't we take a little tour of the area, such as it is, and see if the server tick will be nice enough to get rid of more of it. I'd really like to take as much of the profit as I can before something happens to make me lose it all, like server crash or I get blown up by something. Now you can see over there the remains of a ship. I can't quite get a handle on what type it is. Looks like it might have been Mustang, maybe. I think it might be a Mustang. I can't prove it though. And this one looks like it might be the remains of an Aurora, maybe? Not an Aurora. Constellation? Not to mention something else, maybe. Oh, that's no, that up here is definitely a former Aurora. Now, like Jumptown, you'll see that there is no Armistice Zone here. But you will see that we are in ComSat by the handy little symbol up to the right here. Which means anyone who gets shot can report that, hey, I was shot by someone. Give him crime stat. Give him crime stat stat. Some engines. Looks like that might be a freelancer engine. Or maybe a Starfarer. Oh, nope, definitely freelancer, because I recognize that back end anywhere. You know, that came out so wrong. It's a junk. Like I said, this place is a junkyard, and you can't actually do much here except, well, exactly what we're doing right now. Let's wander around and see what's what and what's where. It would be a pretty interesting area for a PvP first-person shooter experience. But to really be able to appreciate that, you would most definitely have to take out that ComSat. Let's see if I can sell any more. No, looks like the server tick is still not there. So I'm still going to be sitting on a significant amount of drugs. That said, it is not an amount that makes me feel the need to play it safe. And these are pretty much the only places that I know of at this point that would be willing to buy the cargo that I've brought here. Maybe I'll come back to Orange later. But first, well, I said it would be pretty cool if you could do half the stuff without having to worry about that ComSat, right? So, maybe we go take a look. Actually, the first thing I want to do before I do that is prepare for such a unique experience. To do this, you need to have the crypto key. Crypto keys are enabled on your utility tab. There's a utility item, and there are multiple types of crypto keys, some of which are better than others. Ice Pick is the top line one, ironically made by Microtech, and is sold at the world with the same name. I like to save those, however, for more crucial missions, I like to think, like, say, clearing criminal status. What I'm more likely to use is a Ripper, which is, well, what it was back in before the Ice Picks came out, the top line crypto key. So I've got that in my utility slot, and we'll see if I can get to a point where I can actually use it, because there are obstacles that I may not be able to handle here.
Engines online.
Oh, before I do that though, maybe there's something better I can do. Let's look over contracts to see if there's anything interesting. Like the title says, urinate. Okay, how about this? We'll take a walk on the wild side of it all. I don't think there's anything here that, no. Unless there's something here. Oh, or I could just do this instead. Okay. Let's be bad. The price of freedom. We will accept that offer so that I at least have that in my entry here. Yeah, here we go. Now we're cooking with gas.
Engines offline.
Oops,
Engines
either I
online.
turned off the engines and turned them back on and didn't know it, or I never turned them off.
Launch complete.
Oops.
Landing gear up.
So let's hop out of the atmosphere of Hurston. And as we continue our ascent, let's review this contract. Basically, it goes like this. Some people got caught doing bad things. Rude. But they have a prison transport, which is a caterpillar, and they'd like us to bust the prisoners out, and specifically 3 specific prisoners. Okakura Plath, Gitan Welker, Leif Curley, and Kurt Wicker. And I want to get out of here for a second because I can see my angle of rise is dropping like a stone. And the last thing I want is to crash back into Hurston while I'm reading all of that. Okay, it looks semi-stable at the moment, so we can go back here. Moving on. Now, that said, it's possible that one of them may have been a Smith. So if I find any evidence of that, well, bang, bang. And of course, although it does sound like that folks who are going to be rescued are going to be quote-unquote retired, which makes me wonder why they're even bothering with the rescue. But it pays 38,000 credits and bonuses. Sounds fun, don't it? So we are going to go to that quantum beacon. Now, as you might imagine, this is somewhat illegal activity. Which is to say, this is the kind of thing that gets a person into trouble.
Quantum drive is now on.
Although
Quantum drive is now off.
oh, there's someone over here too. Let's do some scans. There's another Cutlass Black here. Could be defenses. That could be a problem. And there's the inmate transport. Let's take a look at the map for a moment, shall we? We are over the world of the moon of Aberdeen. So perhaps what I want to do next is go to the satellite array and perhaps turn it off. Yes, that feels like the logical thing. If I have to kill off starships and security troops, then maybe it would be easier to do, or at least give me less criminal statistics, if I were to do so without the harsh glare of the communications satellite revealing everything I'm doing. Now, I'm assuming that it's this particular satellite that is covering that area. I don't know this is a fact. It's also possible that the communications array may have, shall we say, extra defenses, and that could cause a problem. Well, faint hearts never gained anybody anything, I guess, or however the saying goes. I don't know the quote. But as I get closer, they're going to start warning me off. And eventually I'm going to get trespassing crime stat. I can live with that. My concern is that they will also be armed. That will be a little bit more of a problem. So, let's see what happens. Oh yes, they have turrets. That's a problem. I'm going to need to at least erase one of these turrets, because, well, among other things, that turret will erase me. On the bright side, they're not shooting me yet, but of course that's probably because I haven't actually gained the trespassing crime stat yet. And I can't hit them with a missile at this range. I'm trying to get close enough where I can see the target and blow it up before it blows me up. There we are. And oh, heaven's sake, please tell me the stupid thing is exploding. Okay, that's not good. Okay, that's not good at all. Taking damage, which is bad. But worse yet, is the fact that I don't think I did any damage at all to that stupid turret. Okay, I'm going to try to get in range of this turret so I can hopefully throw some missiles at it and hopefully kill it. Because that turret is doing me no good whatsoever. I don't think that even hit. Let's try the other side. I'm not doing any damage to it at all. Either that or it spawned another one that I'm not aware of. Oh, it's not shooting me. Have I really managed to avoid its, Nope. Haven't avoided a thing. But it doesn't seem to be shooting on this side. Oh, that one sure is, though. Still, if I can get myself angled right. Okay. Okay. Let's take a chance. Now, at this point, there's no problem with me leaving the ramp open, because honestly, if anybody comes here to get inside and do horrible stuff, chances are I'm already dead. Unfortunately, I seem to have picked the wrong side of things to go into. Well, you know, distance is one thing, but safety is another. I'm pretty sure I'm going in the right direction. I feel like I should be playing the music from 2001: A Space Odyssey here. Okay, I have a bad feeling I'm in the wrong side. I may have chosen poorly. Let's do a quick circuit around here just in case I'm wrong. I mean, just because I think I'm horribly wrong doesn't necessarily mean I am horribly wrong. I'm not wrong. Here we are. Okay, so now the question comes is this. What in heaven's name am I doing in such a place? Well, in the bowels of this satellite, deep in the bowels of the satellite, there is a terminal. I feel like I'm speaking as the keymaster in the Matrix. You go into the building, there is a terminal. You must infiltrate this terminal. It will take you precisely X amount of seconds to do. Now here's where that crypto key comes into play. I plug it in, and it starts doing initiation processes. And now it's going to take a little bit of time for it to fill all 5 of those bars. The time may be interrupted because it'll have problems with the card, and I'll hit continue. And meanwhile, as I do this, the alert has gone out that somebody is hacking this satellite. So, you know, good times are coming. Yeah, see, there it goes. It stopped. I have 87 seconds. I have to hit continue to make it keep going. Now again, there's no guarantee that this is going to work out the way I want it to work out. The real irony here is by doing this, I'm making life easier for anybody who wants to pick up criminals at the Klesher prison facility. Okay, progress halted again. Hit continue. Zero G is a pain in the butt to stay stable on. Get ready for the next continue because I'm pretty sure it's going to ask again once it hits that bar. Here we go. The only good thing about this is the 0G is going to hamper anybody else just as badly as it hampers me. Okay, that should be the last time I have to continue, if everything goes the way it should. I'm not guaranteeing that because, you know, bugs happen. Not to mention I may be overestimating my crypto key. System access granted. Exit the crypto key. I am considered an authorized technician. I'm going to disconnect the uplink. I'm going to say proceed.
System powering down.
And that's all there is to it. You'll notice that in the upper right corner, the area that has my crime stat no longer has a satellite image. This means that Anyone in range of this communication satellite may now engage in hostile, vicious activities without fear of criminal rating. This, incidentally, also means that I can be killed without a consequence. Of course, admittedly, I've got crime stat now, so the only consequence being had would be me being shot dead. Now, if everything has gone as well as I'm hoping, that means that the prison transport is no longer covered by the ComSat. And that's good, because I'm going to be doing things that are a lot more severe than Crime Stat 1. Now that said, things can still go horribly wrong. I'm about to attack a prison transport, and the people who are guarding that transport, they're probably not going to be keen on somebody showing up to rescue prisoners. I'm going to go into a side door here and take advantage of the fact that it's much simpler to get into, theoretically. All right. Now, ship's still taking some damage here, thanks to those turrets, and those turrets may very well still be active. So let's close up the exterior as best we can. Activate engines.
Engines online.
Set my route back to the quantum beacon. And I'm not even going to try activating my movement here, because if those guns are active, I'd prefer them not to get shots at me.
Quantum drive is now off.
The strategy has worked. I see no targets here. Well, uh-oh. There are too many targets here. Okay, so this is going to be a fight.
I'm gonna get a medal for taking you down.
Oh, look, they recognize me.
You will respect our authority.
Missile locked.
Yeah, respect this.
Congratulations. Target is destroyed.
That worked a little too well.
Missile locked. Congratulations. Target is destroyed.
Okay, that takes care of the guards. At least the exterior guards. However, you knew that had to be wherever here, right? However, there are still bad guys active inside.
Engines offline. Contact.
Alright, let's pull up a different weapon. My assault rifle. Ordinarily I'd be considering using my sniper rifle, but I think in this particular case the assault rifle will be sufficient for what I wanted to do, which is basically kill them before they kill me. Like that guy. One down. Oh man, I'm still getting crime stat. Curses. I guess killing official security guards will cause problems. Well, you can't say I didn't try. Basically, I want to take out as many people as I can from a distance, so I don't have to worry about little details like, I don't know, them shooting back. Looks like there's a guy who's... Oh no, I think that's a guy who's a... Well, I really don't know for sure, actually. I feel like he's someone who's... Well, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to go through the other side here and see if I can find any more targets on this side. Good news is, I'm pretty sure that most of the opposition around here is going to be in the main body of the caterpillar. Oh boy, do you make a mistake. Like I said, this is not a sniper rifle, but it is an assault rifle, and it is pretty good at what it does. Let's see if there's anybody I can snipe on the other side before I start making my official entry. Oh yeah, they've opened up that side too. Where's the pity, guys? Now you can see these guys in pods. Those are the bad guys. Well, those are not the bad guys exactly. Those are the prisoners. Unfortunately, I don't see any targets in that section. Well, except for the body that's already lying on the floor. And I think I may have turned myself around here because... Yeah, I turned myself around. So the next step is to go into the front and start doing work. I didn't see anybody else inside here. So theoretically I can board on here without fear of being immediately killed. Now's where it starts getting a little more tense. Oh, it's that gun that's doing something wonky on the physics grid. No targets immediately in sight. I may have to do something. Okay, so far so good. I'm pretty sure that, let's try this again. Okay, one guy's already dead here because I sniped him to death. I mean, I guess it's possible that I've already taken these guys out. Possible, but unlikely. And I want to be careful here. I don't want to kill the wrong people. I'll come back here momentarily. I want to make sure that I've gotten all my targets down before I consider the job done. There's one security force left, so apparently there's still someone in here who can do me in. He's not in here, which means I've missed somebody in the main rooms. No, don't blather. Sticking with precision weaponry. Where are you? want to go up that ladder. And it's driving me nuts because I'd swear that the entry room was the room that was supposed to have 3 people in it. But I haven't seen him. This should have had 3 people in here. Oh! There we go. Security forces eliminated. Now the next step is to get to the prisoner manifest. Unfortunately, it looks like the prisoner manifest is not where I was hoping it would be. Luckily, I've spent some time on caterpillars. It must be down here. Captain's quarters. Heh. Stupid letters. Alright, let's see what it has to say. Prisoner manifest. Okay, the bad news though is I can't recall exactly who I'm looking for. Oops. Well, you know, no plan survives contact with the enemy and all that. So, who we got? I might need something to write down here. Of course, none of my pens are working right now. I should be able to at least recognize a couple of them. Life Curly, for example, is 4815. Kurt Wicker, I think, 1066. And unfortunately, I don't recall the other 2, so let me go back here. Wicker, Curly, Welker, and Plath. Plath and Wicker. No, Plath and Welker. Sorry. Plath is 7324. And that leaves Welker at 4905, all the way at the bottom there. All well and good. But we seem to have a couple cells that are listed as not in general population. Let's see, 4815, 1066 may be the ringer. If he's being, if he's going to have reprisal against him, that means he was probably a bad person. So now the question comes of revival. Where the hell did I put the stairway? So now we're going to match up some of these numbers and we're going to start thawing out the guys who we like. And the snitch, I'm afraid, has a different destiny in store for him. Alright, let's see. I should have this put in front of me so that I can minimize the amount of time it takes me to register these numbers. 4905. He's one of our free guys, so we want to revive him. Got a couple guys on the other side here, I think. 7, no. 9254, no. Are there guys on the other side here? Yes. 6942, 7452, 2370. I think, okay, that takes care of everybody in this one. Let's see, 7336, 9965, 7087, and okay. 7324. 7324 is one of our guys. Let's revive him. 7014, 7405. We've done the guys over here, so let's see these guys. 8021, 9483. Okay, next module. I need the next module, right? 5472, 3423, and 1066. 1066. He's not the. He's the traitor. Rough break, guy. That's what happens when you switch. And you see I got the bonus objective nailed down here. So I just need to revive one more guy. I think it's the 4815 guy. I have no idea if I'm in. I think I've gone backwards. Now it's habitation access. I am going the right way. This is what happens when I get turned around. So it's this room I want to hit, metaphorically speaking. 4815 is our last contestant. And now that we have done the deed, it's time to vacate the area and get paid. Preferably without killing myself trying to get back on board the ship. Still somewhat damaged. Big surprise. We will close up the exterior, power on the engines,
Engines online.
and, on request, leave the vicinity. And we'll put on a bit of a burn here. I guess they're different. There we are. Leave transport vicinity and get paid. So, I have succeeded in earning 38,000 credits. Oh, what's this? Reward updated? Oh, I guess that was it. 38,000 credits. Not bad for an illegal day of work, eh? And now I have criminal status. What this means is that all those bounty hunting missions, gone. I am persona non grata because I am the person that bounty hunters come after now. However, oh, no, there's no however here. I have no personal missions either, which means apparently I have not been bad enough. Going to Area 18 would be foolish right now because I'm not crime stat free. Oops. So my mission options right now are pretty dim. Of course, part of that might have to do with the fact that I'm not near a comsat. Luckily, that is a situation easily remedied. We're going to take a quick hop to aerial first. And that should put me back in range of a comsat, which will have two effects. One, I will be able to pick up stuff for my Moby Glass, hopefully. Two, I will appear on bounty hunter radars, certainly. Comlink established, so let's quickly hop in and see if there's anything in here. No, there are still no missions available here. Well, okay. I've done bad things. I was a bad person. I'm gonna hop over back to Aberdeen first and get myself out of this comsat range. It may already be too late, but we want to at least work the odds in my favor. Alright, so, you're stuck. You have no criminal missions. You are, honestly, pretty screwed. But, there is a remedy. First, however, I'm going to swipe out, I'm going to get my weaponry fixed up here. And I'm going to change some of my weaponry. I'm going to swap out the S71 clip for a P6LR, which is my preferred sniper rifle round. Now you may ask, why would I do such a thing? Well, that's because I'm going to swap out the S71 assault rifle with, you guessed it, P6LR sniper rifle. I am making the quiet preparations for my next move. Alright. Oh, one more thing. Remember what I said about ice pickers earlier? Now's the time. Presuming that this hasn't glitched up on me. Okay, beat. Not helping, you know what? Fine. Wants to play it that way? Fine, we'll play it that way. Let's get into the pilot seat. Now what we're going to do is we're going to return to the world of Hurston. Now you might understandably ask, why? Well, because Hurston contains, among many of its other things, a location where I can go to hack away my criminal status. Security Depot 1. Now the problem here is that the security depot, much like the comsat, will be defended. Why can I not get my custom manager here? I need to be able to access this, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to hack a terminal. And if I can't hack a terminal, then I'm not going to be able to deal with the situation. Still nothing. I don't know if the back-end server is being cranky, or if I'm going to need to swap out servers to make it work. I'd prefer not to, but if I gotta, I gotta. Let's see if the vehicle loadout works. Okay, vehicle loadout works. There we are. So utility item, and this time we're going to grab one of the ice picks because for the job we're about to do, speed is going to be pretty important. Med pens are also important. Everything here is important. Alright, let's go back to the pilot seat. Now Hurston will be under ComSat, so that means there will be that much more of a problem to deal with. Well, let's face it. If it were easy, it wouldn't be any fun. And there's every chance that this little expedition is going to cause a problem. Now, something that other people may do would be go to that security outpost at Caria around Crusader. But that has its own potential issues.
Quantum drive is now off.
The most significant one is it's popular. Now, if I wanted to get really clever about this, I would go to ArcCore. Because ArcCore would be well away from any potential problems. You have to, and if I wanted to get really crazy, I would go to Microtech at their security post. The problem with that, though, is that it's very, very cold there. You need a cold suit to survive any real length of time. And I must confess, I am not greatly familiar with that area. Plus, let's face it, the stream, odds are the stream is only going to be another 30 minutes or so.
Quantum drive is now off.
Okay, let's get locations. 23 kilometers away. Now, unlike my usual approaches, I want to get down low pretty quickly. And the reason for this is, again, there will be turrets. What's down here? Oh, further away. I'm not worried. There will be turrets, and historically speaking, I have done poorly against said turrets. That said, I only have 4 missiles of this size left. Actually, let me rephrase that. I only have 2 missiles of each size left. It's something that I may not necessarily want to take a chance on. However, just in case I'm wrong, I'm going to adjust my shielding so that I'm strongly putting my best foot forward, so to speak. What my goal, however, is to land. My ideal situation is to land reasonably close, but behind a hill or mountain, so that whatever turrets they have cannot get firing solution on me. That is my goal. I don't know if the goal is going to work. The closer I get, though, the better my odds of getting through this intact are. So far, they haven't managed to get a good solution on me, but that's not going to last. And unfortunately, it looks like I'm going to have to do a hell of a run. Well, maybe. If I can just get a little closer. Ooh, trespassing. Whatever will I do? Alright, I've been this bad. A little thing like trespassing isn't going to make me lose much sleep. Drop the landing gear.
Landing gear down.
Oh, I'm moving too fast forward.
Shield system is hit.
Oh, and now they're hitting me.
Shield system online.
Oh, not good, not good. Rebalance those shields. I'm going to take out my back end.
Shield system online.
Okay, I'm going to duck behind here to buy myself a little bit of time. Kill cruise control. What's the distance? 3 kilometers. That's further away than I want to be. And of course, the problem is, while I'm doing all of this, I'm still a free target for bounty hunters. I don't want to be running over 3 kilometers. That'll take me forever. And unfortunately, I'm still not in a position where... Oh. Okay. Let's see if I can get myself closer along this ridge. Landing gear is still down, which is good. Okay, good. Maybe not so much good.
Landing complete.
Landing may be complete, but it's reasonably flat. Let's kill the engine.
Engines offline.
Oh, I can't. I'm afraid I can't obey that. I'm gonna do. I would be doing a lot worse in a minute. Okay, well, that's unexpectedly good. I honestly didn't think that the marker was going to work for me there. Alright, now comes the challenging part. The problem with hiding behind a ridge is, well, it's a ridge. That means there could be some fairly precipitous drops ahead of me. But apparently it's not as serious as I feared. Now, flashing light in the distance is where I want to go. Let's hope that that's okay. We have a couple visual bugs that are still around here, and the most notable one is the fact that some of these rocks are, shall we say, less than visible, and leave it at that. We can say that. Now, the good news is I should still have the, 628 meters away, so, it's a rough run, but it could be worse. Now, if I had been thinking properly, actually, it wouldn't matter if I was thinking properly, because I have all that cargo in the ship. But if I had been planning this without the drug cargo, what I would have been doing was I would have had something like, say, a dragonfly or another small vehicle. Even a gray cat probably would have been good, which would allow me to drive to the location, although it probably wouldn't be able to handle this terrain all that well. And it's also not good that I'm not entirely sure where my target they are, I think. Yeah, we're still heading in the right direction. Now you might be wondering why I didn't just try to missile those turrets out of existence. My reasoning is, well, when you think about it, it's kind of both subtle, potentially brilliant, and that's the fact that those turrets don't care who you are. They will start shooting at you if you come close, even if you're a bounty hunter. What this means is that the sound of those turrets firing will give me plenty of advance notice that I need to deal with the problem before it becomes a problem. That's the theory. In practice, It depends on how good the pilots are. Now, I've heard of a number of ways to deal with getting in here and doing the deed. I know some people apparently run right past all the guards and been able to do everything and let the guards all sit there and do the job. I don't know if I trust that. Hence, of course, sometimes when you try to equip weapons, they drop. It's irritating. Now, if everything goes right, not that I'm expecting everything to go right, or even anything to go right. Yeah, who'd have thunk it? Homicide. Gee, with all the crimes I've done so far, who would think that I would balk at another simple kill shot? Oh, someone. Oh! Okay, looks like I've been noticed here. Med pen. Oh, damn. Oh, for God's sake, that guy should have been dead. Okay, well. The wages of sin. When you try to do bad things, you eventually have to pay the price. Yeah, dagnabbit, he was down and dead. I'm looking at the delay on my iPad for the Twitch application, and that guy was dead. I am offended. I mean, it's bad. I don't mind getting killed, honestly, but seriously. If he hadn't been falling to the ground dead, I wouldn't have taken my eyes off him, and I would have hit him with a number of extra bullets. Dirty pool, Star Citizen, dirty pool. But, as so often happens, when you do the crime, you may have to do the time. Welcome to Klesher Rehabilitation Facility. As you can see, I am...
Hello and welcome. You have been placed in a Klesher Rehabilitation Facility for violation of local law.
As you may have guessed, I'm a prisoner. You might have not figured that out, but there you have it. Enroll in for a police program, and let's take a look at what it looks like in the slam. This area is oxygenated, which means I could take off the helmet and breathe and eat here and so forth and drink. Let's take a look at where things stand as far as my criminal sentence. I will be stuck in prison for 10 hours, 40 minutes, and 20-odd seconds. Now, if you're a player of the game, you might think, this really sucks. I gotta spend all this time stuck in prison. Well, the answer is no. This is a maximum, but it's not a minimum. There are ways to make that number go down. You'll notice that we have an area here that says merit contribution. There's a couple ways you can get merits. Firstly, if you're really lucky, but I'm not, if you're really lucky, you will get occasional missions to fix oxygen kiosks in Klesher. These will gain enough merits to knock off time. This little corridor is the second way, the mines. What you can do is, well, first things first. Go to your equipment manager. Go to utility. Put on the mining tool. Equip it. Well, it's the multi-tool technically. The mining part comes next. Go back to utility. It has the orbit already attached. Awesome. I have 2 attached. Okay, I'm not going to question that. And what you'll do is you'll go out here, follow the arrows, and you'll see we have a little commissary here too, where if you have enough merits, you can pick up a nutrition bar, a spare multi-tool in case you lose one, water, med pens, and most significantly, oxypens. Oxypens are kind of a dual purpose sort of thing for this. More on that in a minute. At any rate, once you get past this door, you are leaving the land of the oxygenated. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. If the door isn't opening, then there's an excellent possibility that we have a server crashing coming. Yes, indeed. We have a server crash incoming, folks. Bang! Or as I like to think of it, oops! I've crashed! Well, you know, these things happen. In hindsight, I'm kind of glad I ended up killed off, because this way, I don't feel like I've wasted my time hacking my way in. Alright, let's bring everything back up. That image was incidentally during the expo back in November when there were some bugs involved with the landing bays, and a couple 600 eyes did their mating dance, and you know, it's a whole thing. I will still load back into Klesher, so no fear, I am still in jail. My sentence is still 10 hours and some odd seconds. Now, to earn merits, you have to do either the kiosk missions or mine a bunch of minerals inside the various mining corridors in Klesher, which I hope to show you momentarily. Now, the merits do not come in a form of, well, in a way that I guess they do come in the form of time. You see, if I understand it correctly, 1 merit equals 1 second of time. So if you have 500 merits, you will be lopping off 500 seconds off your sentence. If you get 3,000 merits, you will lop off 3,000 seconds off your sentence. Now, keep in mind, I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure that's the way the math works out. I have fellows in my org who could be more specific as to how much time it takes and how many merits it takes, since they spent so much time here. However, I feel compelled to mention, there is another way to deal with prison. When you're going down towards the mines, if you look over to the right here, you'll see that there's kind of an office here. You can't get into it. That's not important. What's important is this window. And if you look through this window and zoom in, you will see that there is a little thing here that says maintenance access with a passcode 8771. Oh, how about that? Here's one of the kiosk things. I may take that later, or I may not. 8771, huh? Let's see if I can hold on to that in my head. If you know where to go, which I do, you will see that there is this big fan. And if you use the code 8771, you can stop the fan. And you'll see that there is a big honking gap here. And through there is a very tricky escape route. If you choose to go this route, what'll happen is if you get out, you will be able to get to the surface of the moon Aberdeen, which is extremely hot. You'll still have your crime stat, you'll still be in your prison outfit, you'll have no gear, and you have no way off the moon. This is the kind of situation that requires you to have friends, and this, as you can see, the shutdown code only lasts for so long. You need friends to help get you off the moon and take you to a place where you can clean your crime stat, like I was attempting to do before I got shot and killed by Mr. Deadman. I'm still bitter. Okay, we're going to go into Contract Manager to see that we have a maintenance opportunity. It'll give you 5,000 to 15,000 merits. When you take the contract, it will tell you where the target is, which is Route 1, Depth 11. You can reasonably ask, what does that mean? Oh, a word got updated. I wonder why.
When venturing
Maybe it's totaling up the numbers. Route 1, or 2 or 3 for that matter, is determined by these signs over here in this room. Over here to the right is Route 3. On the other side of this rock is Route 2. So logically speaking, Route 1 is this guy. You can tell from the big 0-1 there. And what you want to do is go to where it says Depth 11. You'll see up here at the top of this hallway, or this room, you'll see an 01. And as you travel through the mine, you will locate areas that have signs that indicate 02, for example. And you keep following all the way down to Depth 11. Now, as I mentioned earlier, these mines have no oxygen. So that's one of the reasons why you have a sealed helmet there. In the common areas, you have oxygen. In here, you do not. And that's an important detail because if you run out of oxygen down here, you will die, you'll return back to your prison crib, and anything you were carrying with you at the time is probably gone. So if you were, say, doing any mining in the depths, you would find yourself out of luck. Now, once you've done your deed, if you look at the other side here, you'll see that it says exit, so you'll be able to find your way back out again. Now, some people just kill themselves and respawn back into bed. That's understandable. I get that. I usually try not to do that, but a lot depends on how much time I've been in Klesher already. I can tell you right now that even the 15,000 reward would not get me out of Klesher, not out of a 10-hour sentence. And in fact, I think I will borrow a phrase, cut me own throat once we've gotten to the oxygen tanks. And from there, we'll see how much time I took off with the 15,000, or however many merits I wind up with. That said, I may very well end up with 0, because when they come up with these missions, it comes up for everybody. In other words, anybody who is in prison will receive a contract saying, hey, can you fix this? And you'll notice that we are not in an armistice zone. So people can and will get into fights, possibly even murderous fights, to get those oxygen stations. Well, what do you expect? Do you expect prison to be a place of happiness and joy where everybody cooperated with each other? Come now. That's not the way it works. No. I'm afraid it's dog eat dog here. And whoever gets to the stations reap the prizes. That said, even if you end up being second in these little races, if you don't end up, accidentally dead, you still have a better chance of finding better minerals to mine in the depths than you do at the upper depths. So if I'm, say, doing some mining down at depth 9, the odds of me finding better minerals to work with are a lot better at 9 than they would be at 2. I wish I could say that I knew the route down here really well, but the fact is I don't. I'm kind of going half on instinct and half on half-remembered memory. And I say half-remembered because, well, there are 3 routes. And 3 routes means 3 different ways to get to depth. So I'm constantly looking around as I go through, hoping that I'm finding the correct direction. And I'm as like as not to go the wrong way. Like now. Okay, depth 11. Now at this point I need to start keeping my eye out for an oxygen machine, because the oxygen machine is my destination. Now you'll see there's a visual bug there. It looked like I was going to have to jump through a vast chasm there, but that's a glitch. Same here. Ooh, bang, right into it. And you'll see it says Lockheed detected, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to vent it.
Due to your recent actions, we've reduced time on your sentence. Isn't that great?
So I've gotten 10,000 mirrors on here, which is a little annoying because I only think there's a couple more depths in this route that would have gotten me 15,000. And since we're here, I'm going to use it to fill up my oxygen supply. You see here, it's transferring oxygen from the station into my tank. Now, you might wonder, I said I was going to kill myself. But, you know, I'm not gonna. Not yet, at any rate. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I will. I was getting ready to say what I wanted to do was mine a little bit and come back, but that'll screw up the numbers for the 10,000 merits. Recall that I had about somewhat over 10 hours of sentence to go. Now the good news is dying in the mines will not cause you any more problems. They just consider it an accident. If you were to die while you're trying to escape, you would have more time added to your sentence. Oh, another maintenance opportunity. Now you'll see that I went down from 10 hours to 7 hours. So I locked off 3 hours just off of that one mission. And I just got another one that came up. Well, you know what? Why don't we keep going? I usually start closing things up at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern, but I don't see any reason why I should stop this immediately. There we go. Route 1, depth 6. Now what that means is that I'm not going to get a whole lot of merits on this one. Depth 6 is not very far down. I mean, it's like half the time that I spent getting the first set. Honestly, if I knew it was going to be in that depth, I would have considered. For me, I thought another 30k was coming in. If I had thought that, I might have done something a little differently, like run back and hit that one. But then I wouldn't have been able to show that 10,000 lopped off a few hours. This one, I'm guessing an hour and 20 minutes maybe. Not entirely sure. Up, and what do you know it, I took a wrong turn. You'll know that you've taken a wrong turn when you see lights there with an X on them. That basically means dead end. Or, yeah, you can see it from here too. And the dead end's not going to get you anything. Now the irony is I passed that oxygen kiosk at depth 6 when we were heading down to 11. I went past it deliberately because I didn't want to take the chance that somebody else would be working down here to get at that kiosk. It's perfectly possible that I'm the only one in prison on the server at the moment, too. You really don't know. At least not unless they make themselves incredibly obvious to you. Which is not outside the realm of possibility. Now, if any of the folks I knew were online, I would be half tempted to attempt to, well, I would be half tempted to do an escape attempt. However, I've only escaped successfully once in this game, and I didn't have anybody outside. I was just trying to prove to myself that, yes, I could do it with the help of the good folks who have gone before on YouTube. I owe a great debt to the YouTube guys for putting together guides that painstakingly demonstrated the route to escape. It does involve a lot of jumps on platforms and rocks. If you're good at Mario Brothers, then you'll probably have an easier time escaping. Unfortunately, Mario Brothers was kind of after my time, if you know what I mean. I remember when Pong was the happening thing. Mario Brothers, forget about it. Okay, this is going to give me the 5,000 merit reward, because there's no way I'm going to get 10,000 off this.
Due to your recent actions, we've reduced time on your sentence. Isn't that great? Due to your recent actions, we've reduced
And there we go.
time on your sentence. Isn't that great?
5,000 merits. Now, while I'm here, we're going to see about doing some of that mining I talked about. I'm going to turn on my helmet lamp so that I can try to see if I can locate anything that might have a mineable. Oh, but another contract has come up, and let's see where that's located. It costs me nothing to accept it. It was horribly out of my way. Okay, it looks like it's going to be another 5,000 one because it's Group 3, Depth 5. Oh, you know what? What I can do is I can head towards that way with an eye to finding mining material. Because depending on the mining material, that could be something very helpful. Could shorten my sentence substantially. But it depends on the mineable. The most common minables are obviously not going to get you a lot of merits. The more rare minables will. I realize that sounds pretty obvious, but sometimes you gotta point out the obvious. Now, one of the challenging things is determining what you can mine. You'll notice that a lot of these rocks have a lot of red. I guess they're kind of iron content, traditionally. But you'll see that there are a couple that are yellowish. And if you're lucky, you'll see some crystals on them. So you bring out your multi-tool and you scan it. This is dolomite, which is actually, I believe, the second most common mineral. I think aphelite is more common. Hadanite is the golden target, so to speak. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on our mining laser here, and on the left-hand side, you see an interface that's pretty similar in nature to the ship mining or the rock mining. It's just vertical instead of circular. You want to get past the green. You don't want to get into the red. Please drop from the red. There we go. And get that green filled up. And when it happens, it should break up into a number of rocks that you can pick up. On the other hand, we might have a server crash coming here because stuff should be happening here. Let's check the statistics. Our display info 1 is handy. Oh. Looks like it was just a hiccup, but that doesn't give you good feelings about server health. Now what you'll want to do is you'll want to stow these broken crystals. And unfortunately, you can only stow them so fast. So sometimes it'll take you more time to collect everything than it took to split the rock. When it stops being the circle/red, that'll be when you can pick them up. And since I'll have to go by the area on my way to Route 3, Depth 5, presuming somebody else hasn't beaten me there, I'll see if I can deposit these minerals. During previous patches, the terminals that would accept these things, more often than not, would fail to work properly. They seem to have fixed that, but, you know, you can never be 100% sure. Okay, that's all the rocks. They're all stored in my inventory. If I go to my personal inventory, I can see I've collected 8 of these rocks. They take up 16% of my capacity. So there's plenty of room and opportunity to work on more. Now, hopefully, I'm going towards an exit and not back into the depths. Because I will feel pretty stupid if I see it. That's an exit. Good. I would feel pretty stupid if I run myself back the way I came. And I just came back from depth 5, so I got a ways to go yet. And as I do so, I'm still kind of scanning for mineable rocks. It's not a priority, but I'm not interested in ignoring them. Okay, you see these guys have kind of a purplish crystals. Everything's kind of stalling. This thing's probably really tricky. This is the aphrite. And aphrite is, not to put a fine point on it, horrible. And I can see that this rock is going to be more of a pain than it's worth to deal with because it's got a really narrow bar between green and yellow. I'm leaving that one alone. I don't think I want to try to put that kind of effort into a rock that isn't going to net me much. If I want to be spending my time cutting open a rock, then it has to be either really easy to cut through, or it's got to have something that makes it worth my while. That was not going to be easy to cut through, and it was not going to be worth my while, and that means forget about it. Now, something else I want to mention about these caves, and I've never found it, but I am assured that somewhere in here you can find a shiv. That's right. What would prison be without homemade stabbing implements? You can basically take a shiv to someone and kill them off in the mines if they irritate you enough. Like, say, chase you to a kiosk or something. I've never found one. I'm not even sure where to look. I don't know what signs I would have to look for or what have you. But knowing it's in here, it does put a smile to my face. Let's scan this and see if this one's worth cracking. This looks like it's more aphrite. But I am willing to mine it if it's not going to be a pain. Well, at least it'll be quick, one way or the other. I'm not giving full power on this because my margin of error is still fairly slender. But if I keep it at this rate, and maybe a little lower when we get past the green, we'll see what happens. Oh, here we are. I'm going to cut the power down so it stays green. But not so far down that it drops all the way down to the bottom. You can see that I'm having an easier time keeping it in the green here. And bang, rock goes boom. I stow the multi-tool, and then I start stowing rocks. Now, like I said, this is aphrite. This is the most common mineral down in these mines. I will not get a whole lot for them. And of course, with stowing being what it is, slow. Really, the slow speed of stowing this stuff is kind of a good argument for not grabbing aphrite at all. I mean, come on. The reward is not worth the effort. But since I have put the effort in, I'm bloody well making sure I get all of it. And then I think unless I manage to find the Hadanite deposits, which I don't expect to, unless I manage to stumble upon Hadanite deposits, we will be skipping any other remaining minables and head directly to the drop-off point. And we'll go from there. Let me stow the rocks. I hope that's not a sign of the server getting ready to croak. No, doesn't look like we're getting ready. There we go. Criminy. The things I do to marginally shave off my time. Oh, why do I have that on? Currently flying shouldn't even be active. Sometimes I think my Streamlabs software goes out of its way to be a pain. Currently flying. That was just taunting me. There we go. One more. Just one more of these rocks, then we're just heading out of this section of the mine. I mean, sheesh. The things I do just to grab a rock. There we go. I'm going to turn off the art display info. Oh, now I know why. But I triggered it when I was doing the art display info stuff because I have it mapped to the same key there. That explains that. That explains that. Learn something new every day. Okay, we're still moving on to the exit. Let's see. I'm pretty sure blue is still our aphrite. Yep. And we know that green is... I want to say that Hadanite is purpley. But I'm not 100% certain. Which is why I take a look. That one looks like it should have something. I wonder if someone mined something here. I could have sworn I saw a flicker of a stone here. It's not important. Not important. What is important is finding my way back out. And I don't think I have too far to go. Yeah, staircase. No, I wanted to holster that now. Thank you. Oh, for pity's sake. There we go. More bugs in the Starship Troopers movie, gentlemen. Now, when you're turning in the materials, you can't go back the way you came. You have to go around this way. Over to here. And you'll see these pair of machines. Mineral deposit.
Here's a friendly reminder to leave all materials found during mining expeditions outside the living area. These might contain contaminants that may be harmful to other inmates.
Now you can see that Aphrite will get me 60 merits per unit, so this will get me 600 units. Olivine, 250. So I've gotten, yeah, I've gotten about 1,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 2,000 merits. Oh, here we go, right in the right-hand side. Duh. Now, if I had any Hadanite, I would get 460 merits per unit. If everything works, you'll get a processing sign, and then a message saying,
Your sentence has been reduced again. Keep it up. Your sentence has been reduced again.
success. Okay. Now that we've done that, we're going to go to Route 3, Depth 5, and lop off a little bit more. You know, I thought I turned off the... Now, incidentally, it's the R display info that can trigger the upper right-hand corner where it shows the frame rate. And field that says BWin is important because if that goes to 0, that means the server is not responding. That means crash is imminent. We'll turn off the chat because it's getting insane again. Does anybody really ever fooled about Alt F4 anymore? I mean, that was old back in, like the 90s? Come on. Let's see, where is my next route number? 5 is the number I am looking for, so 5 is the route I want. Unfortunately, I seem to be hitting everything but, there we go, there's 2. Seeing everything but the sign I needed out, but there we are. Now, one of the things that the devs have said is that they would like to make the prison experience a little more interesting than just this. Think of prison gangs, for example. Maybe a prison riot. They want to make the prison gameplay loop a little more engaging than just mine, kiosk, or escape. Now that said, another way of dealing with prison time is do your criminal stuff at the end of your day, when you're almost done playing. The timer will still be going on while you're offline. So if you were to get 12 hours and it's like 10 o'clock at night, you will be fine when you log back in at 10 o'clock in the morning. Or thereabouts. And depth 4, I think that is. And depth 5 is on deck. I really must be the only one in pleasure at the moment because this mission has been sitting out here for some time now. If there were other people in the prison, they would have been knocking these things out. Either that or they're escaping.
Your sentence has been reduced again. Keep it up. Your sentence has been reduced again. Keep it up.
5,000 merits. So I've earned a total of 20,000 merits. A little more than that, technically. Oops. Another maintenance opportunity. Maybe if it's in the same route, I may keep going. Route 1, depth 15. On the one hand, depth 15? Seriously? That's all the way to the bottom. But here's the other hand. That's the 15,000 merit reward right there. Remember, the deeper you go, the higher the reward. So maybe, just maybe, we'll take a run for it. Oh, but first I think, before I do that, I'm going to go back to the normal area, because if you'll see on my lower left-hand side, I seem to have burned through just a little bit of my O2. That's not something I want to be trying to do on an empty oxygen tank. So I would like to have that meter refilled before I make that attempt. Or, alternatively, I might decide that, hell, I know there's an oxygen terminal around depth 6. Do I have enough oxygen to get me that far? Of course, I don't think it's going to have enough for me to refill my fuel tank to full. And of course, there's no way of knowing if there's any oxygen in it at all. Decisions. Well, I was at 22 when I started this little conversation here, and I'm at 16% now. I'm going to take that as a sign of, no, I'm not 15% now. So I'm going to go with the decision that gives me air again. And I'll just kick around, just hanging back, chilling until that thing gets back to around 100%. And then we will make our run. But you know what? If I've gone this far, I might as well see how much my sentence remains. It was at 7 hours and change before. 3 hours and 40 minutes. So 15,000 is going to get me very, very close to the end of the line. I think I'm going to wait a little bit, though, to get that oxygen a little higher here. If you're just joining in, I am Forest Landwalker, and I've extended my stream a little bit longer than usual so I could properly show some of the joys of prison gameplay. I am not including an escape attempt on this stream, mainly because my backup is not in-game at the moment, and it would be perhaps a poor decision to engage in that. Plus, I'd still have to worry about clearing the crime stat out, and I'm really not prepared to extend the stream to excessive lengths. So, Route 1, depth 15. Let's see if I can get there before anybody else does. Again, I have no idea who else is in prison with me. I have no idea if anyone is in prison with me. I have no idea if somebody else here wants it as bad as I do. And to be honest, I don't really want it that bad. But, you know, if I can end this demonstration with the joys of freedom, I think that would be a nice high point to end on, wouldn't it? Now, how I got here basically involved, and this will come as a big shock, doing bad things. I was doing some drug running, and now I've lost about 150,000 credits for the drugs I still had on my ship. Then I took down a comm array because I was going to do the prison breakout, well, the prison ship breakout. And I was hoping that taking out the ComSat would allow me to kill off all the people on board without having to deal with the annoying details of getting more criminal status rating. I may have blown that theory out of the water. No. I'd swear there was a route number here somewhere. There we are. So I went into the prison ship, got out most of the prisoners I was assigned to break free. One of them turned out to be a snitch, so I put a round in his head. After, of course, killing all the guards on board the ship. Hey, if you're going to be bad, be bad. My next step was to try to get to the Hurston Security Depot. And that almost went right, except one of the guards who should have been dead from the amount of bullets he had taken turned out to be, shall we say, not dead. And I'm afraid that he put my criminal career to an end, leading me to the dark depths of Klesher rehabilitation. We burned off some oxygen. Let's use some more. Oh, when you know it, this had 100% on it. I'd have never made it this far. When your oxygen goes low, it seems to go faster. And then, of course, there's an oxygen tank down at 11 as well, as I recall. So I will be able to refill there as well. Now you'll notice that a lot of my jumping and hopping around here has been, shall we say, long. Aberdeen is a low gravity moon, so every time I make a jump, I'm jumping further. I'm effectively less weighty than I am on a normal gravity location. And so when I accidentally run onto a rock that makes me go aloft, it takes me a little longer to reach bottom than I am perhaps ordinarily accustomed to. Doing pretty good time though. We're at depth 9 already, so we are well over halfway to the destination. Of course, halfway is not the full way. Okay, 2/3 of the way. But we are still not there. Like I said, if I can get there, if I can get to the 15,000, that should lop off about 3 hours of the sentence, which is pretty significant. If you can get 3 hours down, then you are well on your way. And there's depth 11, and if I recall correctly, oh, no, actually I don't recall correctly. I think it was a different route that had the, oh, this is on Chasm, which is actually a glitch in the graphics. And then there's another one that should be coming up right here. Jump for it. Smack into the kiosk here. I'll leave that one alone. My oxygen levels are okay right now. Now you may or may not have noticed, but the further down you go, it gets a little more rugged. And it becomes a little bit more noticeable, I think, when you start getting down to this depth. I mean, heck, that depth 14 light is just begging for replacement, isn't it? But the good news about depth 14? Oh, what's this? Is that a... Looks like a water bottle. And, oh, what's that? What's that? Oh! Oh! It's the Shiv! I seem to be moving a little slower. I seem to be caught on something. Oh, right, because I have it in hand. How about that? Completely by accident, I found Mr. Stabby. And there it is, depth 15. So somewhere beyond this passage is the oxygen machine. And if anybody is standing near it, stab, stab, stab! That's a worst case scenario. So the trick now is locating where it is. Well, certainly not here. Because I'm pretty sure it's not in the hallway precisely. That's a dead end. Keeping the eyes open. Eyes wide open. Is it beyond here? It might be beyond here. Oh, that's cool. It's cool, but you know what else? I'm also sure it's probably not where I want to go. Come out, wherever you are. Oh, what's that? There it is. The oxygen machine.
Your sentence has been reduced again. Keep it up. Your sentence has been reduced again. Keep it up.
Congratulations. You have completed your required sentence in our facility. We at Klesher Rehabilitation are extremely proud to have played a role in your rehabilitation and hope that you've used this time to better yourself as a human and as a member of civilized society. Congratulations. You have completed your required sentence in our facility. We at Klesher Rehabilitation are extremely proud to have played a role in your rehabilitation and hope that you've used this time to better yourself as a human and as a member of civilized society.
I've learned how to find a shiv so I can stab someone. Wanna mess with me? Stab, stab, stab. However, since I'm not going to put myself through the abuse of going through 15 layers of depth here, I'll use the shiv for something else. Cut my own throat. Again, since I have perished in the mines, I will respawn without gaining any additional criminal status ratings, which is exactly what I want. The day is going to come where you can't do that. They're looking to put in a death mechanic that will, the first couple deaths will require cybernetic replacements and all sorts of other horrible things. So that's, ooh, look, the fan. So eventually, using the Suicide Express will not get you what you want. But until such a time, you can see here, congratulations, you are eligible for release. Report to inmate processing, which is conveniently right over here. If you try to go through here without earning your way out, bad things will happen.
Attention, attention. Please direct your attention
listen
towards
to that.
the front gates. One of our guests has completed their rehabilitation and is being released. Let's give them a round of applause. Good luck back in the world, civilian.
Now, sadly, when I slit my own throat, it also means that the shiv is also gone. That's okay though, because it was also going to go away when I go into here and activate surface level. Now, you would think that this would take me to the surface of Aberdeen, or I would get transported out. But, unfortunately, that's a little too exotic for the current prison gameplay. So, much like my journey to Klesher, my journey out of Klesher will also be behind the scenes. So, hopefully it will not take too much longer to pop me out here at Everest Harbor. And I know this because of, shall we say, prior... Whoa! Okay, cling here, cling here. Visual bugs. Okay, it's loaded in. Oh, that was a little more entertaining than I wanted to be. Just when you thought it was safe to leave Klesher. So we'll go to the lobby. Now, if we hadn't had a server crash in the interim, I would be tempted to go see if my Cutlass Black with its drug load, see if it was still there over near the security depot. But since we did have a security crash, well, since we had a server crash, that means that Cutlass Black is basically stored. Huh. Well, that means maybe the drugs are still on board, and maybe they aren't. But that doesn't really matter, because we are now, I think, at a good place to stop the stream for today. I would like to thank everyone for watching, whether you have done so live or whether you come upon the video here on Twitch or on YouTube. I hope it's been at least moderately entertaining. I've tried. What we'll do next week? Don't know yet. Maybe we will try a prison escape at that point. Could be arranged. Just maybe. We'll see. But we will be doing Star Citizen again next Saturday, starting at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern to approximately 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern, although as today proves, I have been known to go just a little bit longer sometimes. I also do a Star Trek Online stream. I almost went Star Citizen there. I do a Star Trek Online stream on Wednesday nights from 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern to 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So, again, thank you all for watching. I hope this has been entertaining. This is Korath Landwalker, signing off.